Alright guys, so today what I want to do is I want to show you something very specific about the LCQ Studio Motocross Chasing the Dream game. That is on their website, but I do want to show you that it is on Steam here. And they do have a little bit of information if you are wondering about the early access. They have how long they said that they were probably planning on being in early access for at least a year. They said that the price of the game is obviously going to be lower in early access than it will be in full release. They said here, and this has to do with probably the title or the thumbnail, and I will show you a little bit more here in a second. Where is it? It says it about right here. The game is playable in an arcade physics state. Okay, remember that they were initially trying to do like a Simcade. I don't know if the LCQ Studios actually said this, but there was people throwing around it's gonna be like 60% sim, 40% reflex, whatever. I don't know if that was actually true, but they were heading in, or they're still heading in the direction of the Simcade, but right now, at least in early access, it seems like it would only be with the arcade physics. So there is that. And then this is also something that's kind of cool, is they're going to have Steam Workshop support for the community, for the skins, tracks, and objects and all that stuff. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Then it has a pretty big read up here of the actual game, kind of what they're going to have in it. And they do have bike sizes. So everybody's been asking for this, they want, it sounds like they're kind of trying to do what the community has always been asking for, have some kind of in-depth career where you start out, on a little bike and then move on up and try to get to maybe like a Loretta Lynn's or something. That would be the ultimate goal. So that's pretty sweet if they're actually if they can actually accomplish that. They have you can see the different bike sizes. Maybe the 500 is questionable. I don't know. Not really sure if that's like for sure a lock-in, or if that's just they're playing around with the idea. Weather conditions. I did read over this, but there was a lot to kind of remember. Oh yeah, and then washing your bike at the shop. That's just like it's not really something that's that important, but it's just like that tiny little thing that would add to the game. Also, if you weren't aware, they are going to, when you crash, you're going to have to actually get up and run back and get back on your bike and all that stuff. They do have videos showing, moving the character around, showing that is possible. And then some other stuff here. They're going to have some very extensive customization, it sounds like. And we all love to be able to customize our bike and rider. And user created content, like I said, with the Steam Workshop support. And then some very basic, they might change that or whatever when it actually comes out, but for now you can kind of see what kind of PC you're going to have. And if you are curious, as of right now, it is only PC. It's early access. Well, it will be early access. It did say, where was that? Coming soon. So it is coming soon. They don't have an actual release date, but we are going to head over to their website, because that is where the really, really interesting, some of the really interesting stuff is in the forums over there. All right, guys, so we're at the LCQ Studios website here at the forums, and they have a very extensive forum here where they're fairly active and talk to people. But I do want to show you this. So here, this is a video. I believe they post these on their YouTube page, but they post them as unlisted, and then they share them here. So here's some bike sounds. Kind of let you hear this. All right, so I mean, that sounds really, 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 really good. Now, he did say that this is samples from YouTube videos. None of it has been blended, pitched, or looped correctly yet. So just something he kind of put together. But I mean, they can put those kind of bike sounds. I was just saying how MX Bikes has like really, the mod for the CRF 250 was so good. This sounds really good too, and it's not even a finished product. So I kind of wanted to show you that. I mean, if you're curious, go to their website, get involved, you know, come hang out in the forums, ask questions, they respond. I mean, yeah, just really sweet stuff. Here, it's just kind of a funny thing. I mean, they post stuff like this. It's some gameplay, but it's like it was a glitch, I believe, for turning. When you're trying to corner, it was a weird glitch. But they show stuff like this. I mean, it's just, there's tons and tons of pages here. I'm not going to go through all of them, but there's tons of stuff here. If you're really curious, a diehard of new games and wanting to know what's happening, come hang out in the forums. They actually let you know what's happening. So, where would I go to get back? Right here. All right, so here now, I did read this already, so I'll kind of try to summarize it for you. If I mess up anything and you're aware, then correct me, but I'm sure that I kind of have an idea of what they're saying here. So this is the main point of why I wanted to do this video. They said, we need your input. Would you rather continue development as is on the LCQ Studios game, or would you rather have them pivot for a quicker early access release? Only 24 votes, which is why you guys in the comments or head over to their website, let them know what you would rather see. So it seems that a majority of people here, 67%, would rather have them pivot to arcade physics for a faster release than continue with the Simcade physics and have it, you know, kind of stall out, you know. Now he does say here, this is a lot of stuff to read through, and you can pause the video if you want word for word, but basically he's saying that the way they're moving now, I mean, we say this every video, but these guys have school, they have jobs, they have families, they have all kinds of, you know, regular obligations that we all deal with, you know what I mean? So they're doing this kind of on the side, and continuing with the Simcade physics is going to keep them moving at a snail's pace, it sounds like. And if they transition into the way it plays now with the arcade physics, they can get into early access and then change it as they progress in the game. Now, very specifically here, it says, I want to be clear about this. The physics will evolve over time with updates to be more lifelike. There's no reason not to take their word for it. I mean, I know we've seen some companies in the past, you know, say one thing and then maybe it doesn't happen. And I'm not specifically saying motocross games. I'm saying just game companies in general. They'll say things, and I'm going to say Payday 2, for example. Overkill always said, we're never going to have microtransactions in the game. Never. And then 4 years later, they throw in loot boxes. Okay, so they added microtransactions to the game. Excuse me. Just as an example, we've seen this before, but there's no reason not to take their word for it. I mean, there's no reason not to believe that they won't eventually transition into a more Simcade physics like they have been trying to do, you know what I mean? If they go into early access with the arcade physics, they can have a steady flow maybe of some income, some support money to be working on the game. They also say down in here they want to do a Kickstarter, a Patreon, and in that Patreon they will have different tiers with some perks. Trying to find exactly where it is. I don't remember, but it basically said that different tiers. Oh, right here. Right at the beginning here. So basically, they'd have early release on Steam for a discounted price. They're not sure what that's going to be yet. Start a Patreon for the hardcore people with tiers. And you could get experimental builds of the game early, maybe. In-game or game server reserve slots, game server moderation commands, special in-game items, direct contact with the developers. You know, stuff like that. They're playing around with ideas, different tiers to support the game. And they, you know, give you some rewards back for supporting them. I fully back that 100%. What else here? They said that they kind of want, like, they're leaning towards the old MX versus ATV games as far as starting out right here. If you're curious about how arcadey, it would be like similar to the old MX versus ATV games, but still have complete separate controls of the bike and rider. He says here at the bottom, just to be as fun as possible with as little as, with the least amount of annoyances as possible. So, I mean, I play the arcade games, and I know some of you guys might be, well, Wyndham only plays the arcade games, so he doesn't care if it's more of a sim-like experience. You know, I'm an MX sim guy, so I don't want to see arcadey whatever. Okay, you have a valid point, but I really love MX bikes, and if you're a hardcore sim guy and don't like that game, not as hardcore as sim. Maybe not. I feel like MX bikes is easier to pick up and learn, but I feel like it's still very hard to learn to go fast and be good at the game. It's still very much a sim game. Simulator is, for me, the toughest game. And it's so tough that I just have never felt like dedicating the time to get good at it. So no, I don't like that game, not because I think it's a bad game, because I know I'm not good at it, and I just have never put in enough time to even attempt to really try to get good at the game. I'm sure when you get good at it, it's a heck of a lot of fun. No doubt. But, I mean, if you're sitting there saying that, of course, Wyndham is fine with it being more arcade because he only plays arcade games, that's not true. If they want to do Simcade, I support that 100%. It worries me a little bit that if they do continue with the Simcade, he says in here, I just feel like, right here, or give up and shut the whole thing down. Okay? So this whole paragraph here, basically our three options are to create our physics around the current state or current goal of Simcade, release an arcadey alpha in the very near future, or give up and shut the whole thing down. At the current rate of development, which is likely to last 2 to 6 more months, the rate, not the development, we will most likely take a very long time, uncertain about the time to release the first early access, and probably give up in the middle because this is getting too hard. So a combination of options 1 and 3 probably. So basically it sounds like if they continue towards Simcade, they might not ever finish the game. It might just completely poof, vanish, gone, never finish. Maybe they come back and finish it later. Maybe they don't. I don't know. That scares me. This game has been around. We've been hearing talks about it for years. I want to play it. I want to see it. I want to support these guys. I want to support anybody that supports motocross games. It's a very niche, guys. We don't get a lot of games. I mean, we get a lot of games now. It feels like we get a lot of games, but we really don't still. So I support it. I believe him. I believe that if they release an early access with a arcade physics, they will transition to a Simcade kind of game eventually, and it'll be a slow process, so you'll kind of adapt to it. And I think the game could be really fun and really good. They have some really great ideas, and they've been working on it for long enough that I don't want to just see it die. You know, I don't want to see it die. So I know that a lot of us, myself included, I want to see the Simcade aspect of this game. But to get there, we might have to see the arcade physics first. You know what I mean? So I highly encourage you guys to support this game, to be active with their forums, voice your opinions, let them know, let me know. I'm curious. Let me know in the comments. What do you want to see? Are you okay with them pivoting to the arcade physics, or do you want them to stay Simcade? Let us know. Really curious. Let them know. That's the biggest point. And just, put your voice out there to help this game develop. But you guys and girls are absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for the support on the channel lately. It really does mean a lot. It really does. I say it every video, but thank you for the support. Thank you for any comments you leave. I do read them all. Even if I don't respond to everyone, I do read all the comments. But you guys and girls are absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for the support on the channel lately. And until the next video, take it easy.